Hey, Chris here from The Chris Stefanik Show, where we talk about how to live out God's plan for you each and every day in your everyday life in a way that makes you more alive and more joyful. Check it out. Do they usually know where it's coming from?
No.
I mean, they not off the top of their head. If they dig deeper, can they point to an event often? I mean, is there causality for this? And I wish we could point to a body of research, but all the money for research is going to people who have an agenda.
No, there's plenty of research showing where this stuff is coming from. For example,
hard to find on Google though, but nowadays.
Well, like for example, there's a great book called When Harry Became Sally by Ryan Anderson, just packed with solid research. Amazon took it off. You can't even buy it on Amazon anymore.
No, that guy's been completely.
But he is rock solid, intellectually incredibly sharp, very compassionately written book, solid as can be, but you can find it, get a copy of When Harry Became Sally, read about that stuff. And so in terms of where it's coming from, I mean, a friend of mine experienced gender dysphoria, and he really looked back, when he was a kid, you know, his grandmother would like dress him up and stuff, and say, you know, like, and it would just dote on him with so much affection and love, and he realized, like, wow, I really feel loved when I'm identifying with this personage. And in his case, he went through the whole surgery and everything and lived as a woman for many, many years, and then now detransitioned and is starting, you know, a ministry helping people with that. And you know, I've got another friend who went through it, and he experienced sexual abuse when he was a young boy. And really just didn't feel masculine because it was from another man.
Isn't that tragic?
And he started to question his own sexual identity and transgender inclinations. And so now I don't want to say, if you experience gender dysphoria, you must have been sexually abused. You must have been dressed up by your grandma in a nice dress.
But to not be allowed to explore those things.
Yeah, everybody's story needs to be heard.
Yeah, we're not even allowed to. If a counselor asks those questions, they could lose their license, and that's now branded as true care for the person. You're not allowed to ask them that maybe they're everything from asexual to non-binary to whatever, because maybe something happened. And not every time. But I'm sure a lot of the times, if we could actually listen to people.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Because I mean, all of us are influenced by our environment. Everybody, nobody's exempt from this. Just because I experience same-sex attractions or transgender inclinations, it's not like I'm exempt from the influence of human experience.
Great question came in. How do we battle the possibility of getting canceled when talking about this? I'm actually kind of amazed that you've not been canceled yet. Though there's plenty of Catholic high schools that have canceled you.
Oh yeah. I got canceled from the whole country. You know, going to speak in Ireland about a year ago because of this. I mean, you got to be willing to be canceled.
Because clearly you are filled with hatred and bigotry.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just. I mean, they're threatening me over social media that if I do arrive, they will boil me in a cauldron. Which is fine. I get to heaven a lot faster that way. But you know,
that's healthy.
So a lot of the events were canceled. Other ones got booked, and you know, as a result of it, and lots of good media attention. But I think we have to be willing to be canceled to tell the truth. That's the point. I mean, we need to be compassionate and nuanced and well-researched on this. We've got to be those things. You can't just go off the rails and say whatever you feel like saying. Research it. Say it with love, but be willing to be canceled. Because if you're not willing to be canceled, you don't love these individuals to begin with. If you love your platform more than you love those people, then you shouldn't be having a platform in the first place willing to lose.
You know, there are people in Catholic blogosphere, Twitter land who... I mean, it's almost part of the brand of let's be brash about all these things, and they want to be canceled, but they know that that'll get them a following in some other platform. You know, I think a key of how you're doing this, that's a good example for people watching. You use the word love a lot of times. That the motive of where Catholics coming at with the counseling, with our anthropology, it's not hate for these people.
It's what is in the best interest of these individuals. That where's the data pointing us? Forget the religion, the theology, the spirituality. Where's the data really pointing us on the long-term mental health outcomes of individuals who experience transgender inclinations?
And then hopefully, even people who disagree with us would say, your heart's coming at it from the same place maybe their heart is. And then we'd come at some actual solutions. Pronouns. Mine is His Majesty. No. How do we navigate the whole pronoun thing? Because we have a general inclination to kindness. I mean, and that's a fruit of the Holy Spirit. We're supposed to try to be kind to people. Right? So if someone says, my preferred pronoun is she, you know, I don't want to be a jerk to somebody, and yet I have an obligation to reality. And to not surrender the ground of what I think makes a woman, because that's uniquely beautiful. And language is actually really important. If you're going to tell me how I have to speak. And often that threat of talking a certain way with pronouns comes with, you know, if you use the wrong pronoun, you're a murderer. I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Which is, okay, dude.
Yeah.
And that would be my fault. I mean, really, I mean,
yeah.
the early Christians were hated. They were being eaten by lions. They weren't killing themselves, though. They were healthy human beings.
Yeah.
There's something else wrong here if one word from someone who disagrees with you might lead to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, how do we navigate the demand of people to use a pronoun that violates how we see reality? Or violates, reality, not how we see reality.
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge because not only the pronouns, but their name. If you refer to them by their original name rather than the new name they've chosen, they refer to you as what you're doing is you're dead naming them. And that's one of the worst things you could do is like, wow, you're dead naming me. You're calling me a name that is dead to me. And I can understand where there would be a lack of charity in that. Like if you changed your name to Susan and you didn't want everybody to know that you were biologically male, and I keep saying, hey, Chris, how you doing? Hey, Harry, how? Like, it's like, wait a minute, like, what are you doing? I could see a true lack of charity in that. But in the same respect, if you love somebody, you can't lie to them. And so therein lies the challenge. And one of the issues with the pronoun thing is that when I talk to you, I'm using a pronoun there. I'm using the second person pronoun, you. That's the benefit. When you have a personal relationship, you're not really using third person pronouns as often. I only use third person pronouns about you when you're not here. He. That's the only time I would use it. And so what I would try to do is have more of a personal relationship where you're using more you than one where you're talking about them third person. And in that instance, try to work around it if it's an issue. I would not cave into their name or their pronoun. Why? Because you're bearing false witness. And you're entertaining a delusion. This person probably has enough people around them saying, hey, you be whoever you want. And I think eventually they'll resent you right now if you don't, but they're going to resent you a whole lot more later and for all eternity if you never spoke to them the truth. Like, wow, you knew, and you still caved in to the PC culture when you could have just spoken to me in love. And the way I would express it is, look, I love you, and you have to have that foundation first. I care about you, and I have certain beliefs, and I know you do too. And I think our world is big enough for all kinds of different beliefs. And I don't want to lose my friendship with you. And I hope that you will respect my beliefs on this. And if you don't, I totally respect that. But know that I will never reject you because of what you believe and how you live. I am here. If you feel that you don't want to be friends with me because of what I believe, I accept that. But I hope that you can tolerate what I believe and accept that there's diversity, there's different opinions, and the world's a big place for different people. That way, you're putting the ball in their court to reject you because of your beliefs, instead of saying, I reject you because of what you want me to say. I give you the freedom to no longer want to be my friend if you don't want to be. But I hope we can work around this some way and respect each other. Instead of me trying to control your speech, it's like me saying, like, every time you talk, I want you to say, all glory to God at the end of every sentence.
Right,
It's like, well,
I demand it.
Yeah,
I demand it.
I'm atheist. Well, yeah, but if you love me, you do that. It's like,
and I like it's different. This whole thing's real hard to navigate. I like the approach of, with some people at some phases in their life, just avoid it entirely. Yeah. Because maybe they are in a place where they're a wide open wound. And if you transition, I'm like, hey, Jason. Well, first off, you'd be the most unattractive woman.
Yeah, probably.
No offense.
Yeah.
But if you were not to make light of this, if you were struggling, you were an open wound. Just to go around it and not say, tread cautiously, not say, hey, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to meet people where they're at, not be jerks, frankly. But I can't surrender to a lie.
Yeah, and maybe even apologize to them if they've ever felt hurt by anyone who claims to be Christian or Catholic. And on behalf of the church, I just apologize. And I'm sorry if you've ever felt bigoted against, or because maybe they've experienced some really serious wounds, and the last thing we want to do is pour salt in those wounds by failing to be sensitive. But it's a challenge because love, like I said, to be real, sometimes you got to be honest. If you love someone, you can't lie to them. You can't build trust on something that isn't true.
Man, wasn't that amazing? I get so much out of these conversations that I barely care if anybody else is watching. But I prefer, obviously, to share this great stuff with the world. So be sure to subscribe and share it with everybody you know, and we'll see you in the next video.